Alright, welcome back to the Hockey Show, and we are talking about every single NHL team and if they will be better or will they be worse this NHL season. Now, I know the offseason is far from being over with at this point, but I thought it'd be fun to just take a look at the current teams, what they've done so far, and whatever else, and all the happenings going forward. I'm probably going to remake this video 3 more times before the season even starts, but this is the first one, and it's a very broad question, but will they be better, or will they be worse? Let's just discuss them and see what happens. I thought this would be fun to do, so let's jump right in. I've got these teams randomly assorted. They're not any sort of way to go about it. I'm just going to start in, I've got 5 rows here, and we're going to go from there. So first row, we've got the Stanley Cup winning team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Now this team, it's going to be a hard question to ask. Will they be better or worse? Because the question is not, are they good or bad? Remember, keep that in mind. This isn't, are they good or bad? This is better or worse. And for the Vegas Golden Knights, they had such an amazing, they were #1 team of the West in the regular season, and they won the Stanley Cup. So pretty high expectations for them. And for me, especially with the trading away of Riley Smith at this point and kind of the tough cap situation they're in, their guys getting a little bit older, I think they're going to be a good team, no doubt, but it's going to be really hard to see them match what they did this season. So just by that, I know this is going to be bad, and you're probably going to boo and hiss me here, but I got to say, it's just really hard for them to repeat and get back to that same, just what they accomplished this year, to do it again and match that or better. So just by those means, they have to be worse. They're going to be good, but there's no way that they're going to be better. There's just no way. Next up, we've got the Arizona Coyotes here. Now, the Coyotes, one of the teams that's going to be hard for them to kind of the opposite spectrum of the Vegas Golden Knights, where it's like they were so bad, it's hard for them to be even worse. And with a lot of the young guys that they're coming up the lineups and going to be getting onto the lineup soon, and so the guys who are young and now on the team, and Valimaki and Moser and Soderstrom, guys like Barrett Hayton being more used to the NHL, I think that for a lot of reasons, this team is probably going to be better. And I know it's like, oh, the arena, whatever, it doesn't even matter if they're better. They're not even going to be in Arizona. It doesn't matter. That's not the question. The question is, will they be better? And I think just with a lot of the young talent that they have, Dylan Guenther probably being a more regular in the lineup, that I think this team will just naturally be better than last year. Not outstanding. Kind of the opposite with the Golden Knights in all of spectrums. Like, Arizona is going to be better, but they're still bad. Vegas is going to be worse, but they're still great. So, 2 opposite ends of the spectrums there. So, Coyotes, first better team. Next up is the Boston Bruins. Now, the Bruins, this is an interesting team because I've gone over them a couple times now already, that this team is in a tough situation with their cap, and that the lack of the losses that they're going to have from Bergeron and Krejci most likely not being on this team, and they've already traded away Taylor Hall, and especially with that record-breaking season that they had, it's going to be tough for this team to even come close to how good they were last year. So kind of like Vegas, but in a worse way, that I don't even know how good this team might even be. They're still definitely a playoff team, but they're going to be worse. There's no doubt about that. They're going to be a worse team, and it's just flat out simple as that. Worse, and for them, it's kind of not even like Vegas where they'll still be, they'll be good, but they're not going to be the Bruins that everyone, 80% of brackets chose to win the Stanley Cup. So for the Bruins, they're definitely in the worst category. The Calgary Flames. Now, the Calgary Flames are an interesting team. This is a team that I could easily see going both ways. One way, they're already falling apart with guys like Tyler Toffoli being dealt away, Elias Lindholm, and Noah Hannafin seeming like they're on their way out. But they still have guys like Weegar and guys like Huberdeau, and those guys are still on the team, where Huberdeau, if he can get back into gear and get into, not even 115 points, but just get to, an 80-point season, Elias Lindholm continue, we get another 80-point season for him or something like that. And, this team has the chance of being better. This team could easily, go in the middle. They could go, right here in the middle, but I don't like the way the attitude of the team's probably going worse, so I'm going to say worse, and that's not a good thing. The Flames that close to the playoffs this year, just missing them, And with the way this team's fallen apart, the attitude in the room's got to be pretty bad. And especially with having such a tough coach and Daryl Sutter at the end of the day to be the guy you show up and play for is got to be, everything's going to be tough for that team this year. And I don't see anything good happening. So worst they get. And then we've got the Dallas Stars. This is a team. This is interesting. They picked up Matt Duchene, and their biggest issues were defense, but their defense is still pretty intact, and they did pretty good last year, and Jake Ottinger's just getting better. I think this team is going to do better. I think in the regular season, they are going to get a little bit higher in the standings than they did this year. I don't know. The Stars are a team. They're not going to be worse. I think they're going to be better. They're going to be better this year. I think third round exit in the playoffs is pretty tough to once again beat again. So the only way to beat that would be make the finals. But I don't know, something about this team. I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to take their loss from this playoffs and really grow off of that. They just kind of have that feeling about them, and especially with Duchene being an 80-point guy added to this team. I just think Dallas is just, there's no way they're worse. They're definitely not going to be worse. They're only going to be better. So Dallas is better, second team. Next, we've got the Pittsburgh Penguins. Now, the Penguins, this is a team, once again, I'm kind of stumbling here now. With the Penguins, they missed the playoffs barely. And what they did recently with keeping Jari and getting Nedeljkovic on the team and trading for Riley Smith, they've done a couple other things. I think this team, last year I felt like it was kind of their last hurrah to make it in the playoffs, but with Kyle Dubas being what he's doing right now, I think he's gonna try to do something. I mean, these categories aren't ranked, but I'm going to rank them here. I'm going to put them at, like, the bottom of better. I think they're pretty close to being worse, but I don't see them being worse, which I know sounds ridiculous. But I think Dubas is going to make them better, but they're not going to win the Stanley Cup. If they make it in the playoffs, they're a first-round exit. They're just going to do marginally better. They're going to go from missing the wild card to being the second wild card. That's what they're going to do this year. So they're going to be marginally worse. The Detroit Red Wings. This is a team that I thought a couple weeks ago were going to be amazing, but the Yzer plan, for the people who still believe in it, I'm kind of a believer still. But they've been making some really wacky trades, and just because of that, I'm kind of turning against Stevie. They're going in the worst category. They're just like that. I feel like Steve has lost his mind, and he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. He had a one-hit wonder with the Tampa Bay Lightning, and he'll never be able to regenerate the same thing. And yeah, the Detroit Red Wings, they're going to do worse this year because Steve Yzerman just doesn't really know what the hell he's doing. He'll probably trade away Dylan Larkin when he's approaching 90 points or something like that. I don't know. The guy just seems to not understand what his job is anymore. So, Detroit, worse. Now we've got the Edmonton Oilers, and this is once again, another team that's kind of tough to say will they do better or worse, because they did kind of pretty good, but I think they're probably going to do something crazy for trades to make this team better. And because of that, I think they're going to be better. I don't know what it is yet. They haven't done whatever their big move is to make things better, with Connor McDavid and Draisaitl still being on the team. And I think now is the time for you to, like, really try to... It's kind of like Matthews in Toronto, where it's like, you got to do something to keep these guys happy and want them to stay there. I feel like the Oilers, this might be like the season where kind of things are like, this is the final straw. We got to do something to prove that we can win a Stanley Cup or not. And I think this is the year where Ken Holland probably goes out there and he gets some, if it's going to be Erik Karlsson, and it's Erik Karlsson. If it's something else, I don't know. But I feel like they're going to do something that hasn't happened yet that's going to make this team better, and they'll be better this year. Next up, the Washington Capitals. And I think straight off the bat, I'm going to put them in the better category. I thought they would be worse, but with the additions of Max Pacioretty and Matthew Phillips, who was the 5th highest scoring guy in the AHL, probably the best player who did what in the world, who wasn't in the NHL, well, other than Connor Bedard, joining this team for a small contract, and that their AHL team won the Calder Cup, that I feel like those additions of those the depth down there is going to make this team better. Guys like McMichael and Lapierre being better now. I think the Capitals, they're not going to be amazing, but they're going to be better this year. The Florida Panthers, and immediately I'm going to put them in worse because what they did this year was absolutely incredible, but starting off the year, they're going to be missing Ekblad. Aren't they going to be missing Tkachuk as well? So things are going to be tough there already. And they're not going to make the Stanley Cup final again. I just don't think they're going to do that. They traded away Anthony Duclair. So to me, I just think due to circumstances of injury and trading away some things and having such a high ceiling to overcome, I just don't see it happening. The Panthers just not going to do as good. They're going to be worse. Then we've got the Colorado Avalanche. Now the Avs, I think I'm just going to put them straight into better. The Avalanche, I like their moves that they've done. I like that they picked up some of the guys that they've picked up and picking up in the Predators player, the guy they picked up from the Johansson, picking up Johansson from the Predators for such a small deal, needing that second line centerman, I think is a good gamble. Bowen Byram's contract isn't as big as I thought it would be. I just like the moves. I like the guys in Ross Colton that they've picked up. They've really done well with the depth. And I think they're going to do better this year. I mean, once again, top team of the Central Division, I think. Yes. And the first round of the playoffs, I think they'll probably win this year's first round. So I think all around they'll either keep up with the same in the regular season and do better in the playoffs. So those are my predictions for the Avalanche. Sorry, there was some loud noise outside. I don't know. I still don't know what it was. But anyways, the Avalanche definitely going to do better. I think they'll meet their expectations and just do a little bit more than they did this year. The Minnesota Wild. Now, the Minnesota Wild. I don't know. They can't do... They're not... I feel like this is a team that is stuck, like they've always been, kind of stuck in the same place, where they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to be a good team, but they're not going to go very far. So to me, Minnesota is going in better because they're not going to do worse. And some of their younger guys are going to start being a little better. And Patrick Maroon is a nice presence to put on this team that they just added. So for the Wild, they're going to be better. They're going to be better, but not that good. And that's it. The Winnipeg Jets, already they're going to be worse. They're already trying to be worse. They're trying to trade. They've already traded Pierre-Luc Dubois, which they didn't get a really good return, but not enough to make the team better. Scheifele's on his way out, probably. Connor Hellebuck's probably on his way out. So the team's just probably just going to be worse right off the bat. Just simply because they're basically trying to be, right? They're trying to be worse. So for me, it just kind of writes itself. They're going to be worse. Not much to say there. The Canadians are going to be better. The Canadians de Montreal are going to be better. David Reinbacher just signed his entry-level contract this morning. And if they can add him to the lineup down there, I just think this team's got a lot of young guys on this team that are going to be taking a better step forward this year. And to me, it's once again a team that's kind of hard to be worse than they already were. And they haven't really lost anything, and they've only added more. So to me, the Canadians, it might be 1 point better. It might be 1 spot better. It could be 5 spots better. I don't know, depending on how much the young guys have taken a step forward. But to me, the Canadians, once again, kind of like the Jets. It's like naturally, they're just going to be better. They kept the same stuff and added a couple things, and the old stuff aren't getting too old, that they're just going to be better. So there you go. Just like that, the Canadians, better. The New York Islanders. Now, this is a team that I have mixed feelings about because I don't know if they'll be better, but I kind of want them to be worst because I want them to learn a lesson about what to do and how to run a hockey team. So I'm going to put them in worst because I think maybe they still do the same thing this year where they make it into the playoffs, whether it's a wild card or third place, and then they lose in the first round. And I don't know if things won't... Maybe they do the exact same thing they did this year, but what will be worse is the fans towards them. Because this team, with Lou Lamoriello never doing anything other than adding Bo Horvat, of all people, to make this team better, and not helping guys like Matt Barzal get some help to get him some points. Instead, this team just kind of sits on their hand. They sign these guys on this team for 7 years and 36-year-old to a 4-year contract. It's just insane what this team does. So I hope people start revolting. So they're going to be worst in fans' opinions of them. And that's all I got to say. Because the Islanders, I like the Islanders. I love the atmosphere of the arena. They're one of my favorite teams to watch the fans of because they just go so crazy. But this team just does never learn anything to get better. They've only progressively gotten worse from them going to the Stanley Cup, the Eastern Conference Finals, 2 years in a row, and taking the Lightning to the edge of the limits and just losing to them in Game 7s, where now they're losing in the first round. So, to me, I want them to be worse, just so they could maybe learn a lesson. That's it. The Ottawa Senators, I think they'll be better. I think the thing with Alex DeBrincat is going to make things maybe potentially a little worse, but they still got some really good young guys that are, once again, kind of like the Canadians, just going to take a step forward. And I think maybe without DeBrincat there, will open up a position for someone else to kind of take a step up. Maybe guys on the back end, especially with Jacob Chikrin there the whole year and Thomas Chabot being back there together, will I just think the whole season's going to be better for them. Just the entire year, and if they add Erik Karlsson, this team will be taken to a whole other level. So for all things just naturally occurring, I think they'll be better. They'll be better easily. And then we've got the San Jose Sharks. This team sucks. But do they suck enough to be worse, or did they add a little bit to be better? They added Duclair, and they drafted well with Will Smith, but he's not going to be on the team this year. So I'm going to say that this team, you know what? If they trade Erik Karlsson, they will regardless be worse. So they're going to be worse this year, which is crazy to think about because this team is already horrendous, and now they're even going to be worse. So Sharks, worse. That's it. The Carolina Hurricanes, way better. They're already amazing, and they've already added Orlov. They're probably going to be adding Tarasenko soon, Michael Bunting. This team's incredible. They're my pick once again before the season starts to win the Stanley Cup. So at this point, right now, this team's better. I love this team. Hands down, better. This team just somehow finds ways to be better. Huge. If they were ranked, I would say they're going to be the most better out of everyone. I'm going to put them there just to put some disrespect on the Coyotes and cover them up a little bit. There you go. It's actually kind of cool looking. Anyways, we've got the Nashville Predators. Now, with the moving out of Duchesne and Johansson and moving in Ryan O'Reilly and, Gustav Nyquist, does that make them better or worse? I definitely think they're trying to be a little bit worse. It's weird what they're doing. Barry Trotz, I can't decide if he's trying to make a playoff team or just a team that's decent and competitive, which is weird. So to me, I think the team is going to be better because to me, Johansson and Duchesne did kind of feel like they were bland defensively and didn't look like they really cared a whole lot sometimes. And with Ryan O'Reilly kind of being that, you know what? No. What am I talking about? This team's worse. Those guys were good. They produced some sort of offense. And Ryan O'Reilly, Gustav Nyquist, those are not additions that you make to make a team better. They're going to be worse. That's it. Vancouver. I want this team to be better. I like a lot of the players on the team. But if they do start blowing things up and they move out Brock Besser and whatever else they do, they'll definitely easily be worse then. So better or worse for the Canucks? I feel like this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year. I mean, Elias Peterson's already a freaking superstar. But to me, I think this will be the year where they jump out. I think this is the time. This is going to be their one season, 1 year, where they do crazy good, and they're second in the Pacific Division. Then next year they're going to drop out once again. It'll be like that weird tic-tac-toe team and go back and forth. And Yeah, that's my prediction. I think that this is going to be the random year where Vancouver is incredible for some reason, and it makes no sense. Everyone wonders why, and it's not because anyone's like amazing or being freaking out. I mean, I guess. Anyways, I think this team's going to pull things together, be amazing this year, and then suck next year. So, there you go. Vancouver's good. New Jersey is going to be better. They were already good last year, but with Dawson Mercer just having that already amazing good season and then taking that next step this year, guys like Alexander Holtz and Nemec probably making the roster, them most likely going to be upgrading the goaltending, and Jack Hughes jumping out and being a star this year just to go into next year knowing he can do that. I think everything just comes together, making this team better automatically. Once again, kind of that natural progression type thing. New Jersey, they are already amazing this year, only going to be better this year. New Jersey, the Toronto Maple Leafs. This team is going to be better. I like what they've done a lot with adding Bertuzzi and Ryan Reeves, which I know is weird. I think the contract's strange, but I like the addition. Tyler Bertuzzi, that's I already said him. What is his stupid name? The guy whose name is Max Domi, and John Klingberg. I like the additions that they've added. I do think they will help them, but the issue is that they're way over the cap by $3 million, and they still don't have a good goaltender. So I think in the regular season, they'll do better than they did this year. And then I think going into the playoffs, I like the grittiness that they added, and I'm sure they'll find some goaltender eventually to be in net for them. So for me, the Maple Leafs, I'm going to say they'll be better. They'll be better in some aspect. They'll do something better. And I like what they've done. I like what the Maple Leafs are doing right now. The St. Louis Blues. I think they'll be worse. I think they will be worse because they won't have Tarasenko and O'Reilly the entire for most of the season before trading them. And then, yeah, I just think everything about it. The St. Louis Blues will be worse. They're going to probably trade away someone on their defense, and Robert Thomas and Kevin Hayes are not good enough to lead a team and to be better, so they're going to be worse. Just like that. Simple as that. Tampa Bay is going to be worse. Things are falling apart over there. They're not going to be bad. This is a Vegas situation. They're going to be worse, but they're not going to be bad. Things are looking grim, though. I gotta say, they're showing the signs of a team falling apart, and it's about time. You know, this team has played so good. I don't know if people realize they haven't just gone to the Stanley Cup Finals like those 3 years in a row, but they also went to the finals with Stamkos and Kucherov on the team in 2015, 16, and they've been in the running ever since then. They've been playing a lot of hockey. And now they finally are falling apart, and it's sad to watch because these guys are still tremendous players, but the whole team has gone through so much, and they're going to be losing some more people. Ross Colton's now gone, and if guys like Anthony Cirelli are moved out, things are just going to get even worse. So for me, easy, Tampa Bay is just going to be worse, but not bad, but worse. New York Rangers. This is a team that I would easily say, they would do the same. So I'm going to put them, in the corner here. They're going to be the same as this year. They're going to make the playoffs, and I'll put them in the better of, the two. I would say they're bottom of better, but they're not going to be worse. They're not going to be worse, but they're going to be... I would say if there was a candidate for a team that does the exact same thing, it would be this team. They're going to do the exact same thing they did this year. Pretty good in the regular season. Not the best, but not the worst. Top 10. And then the playoffs, they'll lose in the first round again to whoever they face off against. That's what I'll say. They're going to do the exact same thing. Same scenario for the Rangers. The Seattle Kraken, they're going to do better because Beniers is out of his rookie season. Shane Wright is probably going to make the team. Goes guys like Cartier and some of the guys in the AHL that did so good for them this year are probably going to make the NHL, maybe having a bigger impact. And guys like Jared McCann being able to build upon his season that he had this year. And for me personally, I would love to see this team be the one that lands Erik Karlsson. I think they're going to make some move, or maybe they sit on their hands and do nothing. But I think regardless of if they do nothing or add anything, they will be better. They will be a better team just by, like I said, the natural process of things. Some young guys getting better and the rest of the team sticking together. I like it. Gonna be better team this year. Good job. The Chicago Blackhawks will be a better team. Connor Bedard and Taylor Hall just immediately make them a better team. There's no question about that. And kind of the same thing for the Anaheim Ducks. They are going to be a better team. I'm going to just put them both on the board at the same time. Because they were the two, I think they were the two worst. No, Columbus was worse too. You know what? We're going to log all these teams in the same category here. Columbus, Chicago, and Anaheim. All of them were so bad last year that they're going to be better with who they added. Fantilli to the Columbus Blue Jackets, Leo Carlsson to the Ducks, and Bedard to the Blackhawks, plus Taylor Hall. The Ducks also getting Killorn is going to be better for them. And for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Severson and Provorov. These three teams have just improved their team, and they're going to go from being very bottom of the league to some of them, like I think maybe Columbus, breaking into the playoffs this year. And if Chicago could lean into that attitude of being aggressive and not wasting Bedard's early years, I could see them being a playoff team too, but it's yet to be seen if they'll do that. Final three teams, the Los Angeles Kings. Something about what they're doing this offseason so far is scaring me, so I'm going to put them in the worst category. I think LA, they have yet to address their need for a better goalie. And with news about John Gibson, if he does leave or go, whatever happens there, I don't think he would end up there. Connor Hellebuck, sure, he's got 1 year left. But if they add Connor Hellebuck to the team, they'll be making another trade with the Jets. And after seeing the first one, I don't know what they're going to be giving up. They already gave up a lot of depth for Pierre-Luc Dubois. So they're weird. They're not addressing their main issues, but they have done better things. Like they're like making one thing better, but progressing a issue. So, to me, I just don't like it. I don't like what they've done, so I'm going to put them in worse. They're going to be worse, but not bad. They're not going to be bad, but they're not addressing bads that they have at all. Like, not even close. The Philadelphia Flyers are going to be worse. They've lost JVR. They've lost Kevin Hayes. I mean, they're not amazing players, but they're better players on this team, and they're so bad already. And they've lost Provorov now. This team just gets worse and worse. Philadelphia, down the drain, probably one of the dumbest organizations now with Danny Briere. Things could change around, but before him, he can really make a difference. This team's just gone bad to worse, and they're just keep going to go down. But that's okay. That's sometimes worst is better. Worse is better sometimes. And the final team we're going to talk about is the Buffalo Sabres. Just like that. In your face. Boom. Sorry. And, the Buffalo Sabres are going to be better. I really think that once another team that should jump on the Connor Hellebuck train and go for him big time. And because Devin Levi is going to be better. Guys like Tage Thompson, I just see only getting better. The guy is a stud. Alex Tuch, if Matthew Savoie can make the team. Samuelson getting better. Dylan Cousins getting better. I love what Buffalo's done. I want them to pick up Patrick Kane. And they'll go all in. The team was so good and exciting last year that this is the year for them to lean into it even more. And that is all I got to say. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Congratulate yourself by picking up my subscription. I'm begging you, please do it, please. And until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day. And ta-ta for now.